Hey guys, we're back with the last part of the series in the basics of Game Maker 8, and I'm here with my accomplice.
Hi.
Says hi really delayed and late.
Sorry.
So what we have so far from the other two tutorials is basic AI and a background and a little guy that moves around and shoots. And the enemy also shoots. And my crude graphics make everything better. So this is basically what we have so far, and what we're going to add and finish up in this tutorial is a high score table, how to show that, and how to add score, and how to defeat the enemy, I guess you could say. So we'll start off with how to defeat the enemy, so you can go ahead and go into the enemy object, and we'll maximize that. And it's actually really simple. Collision in Game Maker is really like essential to understand, but it's also extremely easy. All you do is click collision, and then you just select what object is it going to collide with, and we're going to say bullet. So basically this is saying if this bullet comes in contact with this object, then execute these actions. And what we're going to have happen is destroy instance of self, and actually click self and then drag,
add other.
yeah, and then drag another one in and add other, so it destroys both the bullet and the enemy.
Then display message.
Display a message. Oh yeah. And then in the control, I guess we could put show high score table, and we don't need to really add anything.
Run show a message too, maybe.
How do I do
Main,
that?
go to main 2.
It's been a while since I showed a message.
Info, and then there's a little message. Yeah.
Oh, okay. How about we don't show this, because there's not really a score. Instead, let's just show display message, and it'll just be like, you have defeated the enemy. And we can play it. It'll load up. And if we hit the enemy, kills him, it says you have defeated the enemy. And if we hit OK, nothing happens. So what if we want to restart the game? Well, down here in main 2 under game, it says restart game.
You can also end the game there too.
Yeah, you can also end the game with this little event right there. You can also save game and load game, and there's a lot of options. But now, if we load it up and we kill the enemy, we should be able to just restart, and everything should load back up. Let's kill this fucker. Yeah, okay. Now obviously I skipped the message, so let's do that again. You defeat the enemy, okay, and then as you can see, everything restarts. So that is pretty much the basics of what we wanted to get through, but I'm going to go over one last thing, and that is game information, global game settings,
and the enemy killing you.
And the enemy, oh yes, and that works pretty much the reverse order.
And score.
And character, we're not going to really have score because there's only one enemy. We can go over that in another tutorial, but anyway. So in character, it's basically the same thing. You add a collision event with the enemy bullet, and you just destroy both the instances by dragging in both, or 2 of them.
Self and then other.
Correct. And then you can just end the game. Or we can display a message like, you suck at life, and then we can restart the game. And let's run that and make sure that works, and then I will show you guys game information, global game settings, and extension packages, and we will have covered the basics. So if I let him hit me, you suck at life, and then the game restarts. And if I hit him, you defeated the enemy, and the game restarts. And by default, if you press escape, it ends the game. So now that we've covered all of that, I'm going to get into game information, global game settings, and extension packages. Now, the first thing, game information. If you press F1 while you're playing the game, this is what will pop up, and you have to type in things like
summary.
A basic summary, right? In this game, you will shoot at a deformed thing.
And then controls, probably.
Right, you could pay. Let me organize this a little. So like summary, and then you could do controls, space to shoot, arrows to move, and you can add what else you want. So, and then you can
change
also,
the font.
Yeah, you can center it, you can up it, you can bold it, italicize. You can
Comic Sans for the win.
Fuck that. go with Dolk Champa. So
Okay, fine.
you do that. That's game information. It's basically just text, and you just press F1 in the game, and it'll open and tell you things. I believe it's F1. Yes, F1, and then it'll tell you everything. And you can't type, as you can hear from Windows errors. And if you press, I think F1, escape to go back to the game. So that's basically how you could do it. You could also change game information in sort of a pause screen, because as you can see, it pauses everything that's going on. So once again, F1, escape. So that's game information. There's not much more to it. Just basic text editor stuff. Now, global game settings is important. If you double click that, there's a lot of stuff going on. First of all, the graphics. So you can start in full screen mode, you can scale it, you can allow the player to resize. There's a lot of different options. In resolution, you can set the resolution of the screen, and you can use synchronization. In other, there's a lot of default keys, like right here, let escape end the game, let F1 show the game information, switch screen modes, save and load a game, take a screenshot, and then game process priorities. You can also put in your information, your company, product, copyright, things like that. And loading is probably what I think is most important. This is where you can change the exe icon and the loading bar, so you can make it look like this game was never even made in GameMaker. So it takes .ico files, which are like 16 by 16 images. I don't really have any. And then you can change the loading bar too. So like I said, it makes it look like you didn't even make it in GameMaker. And if you have Pro, there's no watermark that shows up either. So you can hit show your image while loading, and we'll change an image, and we'll use Bioshock Rapture. Now I'm going to turn off no loading bar, because I just want this image to display, and make sure it is totally opaque so we can see it.
You mean non-opaque?
No, opaque is perfectly seeable, transparent, seeable.
Oh, yeah.
And we can also use your own loading bar, and you choose the back and front image, but I'm just going to hit none. And once again, I don't really have a game icon, but we'll get to that later. And you can display error messages, you can write them to a log, about error messages, tree variables, and of course there's information, like dates, version, author. It's kind of like all this. So if we hit OK and we play it, you'll see, bam, my screen covers up with Bioshock Rapture, and there's no loading bar. And if we changed the icon, it wouldn't even look like it was made in GameMaker. So it's pretty cool. And then the last thing I wanted to go over was extension packages.
And how to export the game.
Yeah, and we'll go over that. Extension packages are basically like add-ons. There's networking add-ons, there's skin add-ons, there's physics add-ons. Basically, you just download them, and it's a certain file type, and you just hit like install, find more, and then it'll take you to the site. Extensions, and there's a bunch of them. The Dudes library, there's Easy 3D, anti-scripting, effects.
We'll probably get into those in other tutorials.
Yeah, we'll get into 3D, no worries, and particles and such. But there's a lot of extensions that you can get. So, and to put in an extension, for example, all you have to do is like click it, hit over, and then I think you just hit OK, but I don't want that in there. So. And then the very last thing we're going to show you is how to publish a game into an exe that you can give to everybody, and they don't need to actually download anything. You can either hit this button, or you can hit File, Create Executable. You click that, and then you can name it whatever. You don't need to put .exe at the end, it'll do that for you. And if you hit Save, and we go into the folder, there it is. And of course, if you change the icon in global settings, that'll change the icon, and it gives you your loading bar too. So it'll load up, and like I said, I'm pretty sure all they need is C++ redistributable, and that's on every computer except like Mac or something. And it's our game. And those, my friends, are the basics of GameMaker.
So we're going to be getting into graphics,
we're going to be
particles, gravity. We're going to do a platformer demo,
Yeah, this platformer will show you, we'll get into particles, we'll get into animation, and we'll get into gravity, and that is the next series. So we will see you guys next time. So learn from this and make some awesome games.